Hey, I'm Matt, and I want to talk about the Peach Bowl, LSU versus Oklahoma. LSU is a 13.5 point favorite in the game. Nobody's giving Oklahoma a chance. Not a single chance. Nobody is giving Oklahoma a single chance. And I think that's wrong. Sorry, I'm at work letting the van get warmed up, fixing to leave. And I have a habit of anytime I see movement, I look at it. So I think that's a bad thing that nobody's giving Oklahoma a shot. Because I've been, as an OU fan, I've been in LSU's position several times when we were the absolute odds-on favorites with the greatest offense in college football history. That's not me saying it. That was yards per game, points per game, the greatest offense in college football history. And Oklahoma lost. Now everyone is talking about how, Oklahoma's never seen this spread them out, pass it, with wide receivers that go up and get the ball. Oklahoma's never seen that. Oklahoma's been running the air raid, spread offense, whatever you want to call it, since 1999. Okay? The Big 12, they have been facing those teams since the mid-2000s. Because everyone in the Big 12 adopted that because that's what you had to do. Oklahoma's faced the spread them out, throw it all over the field offenses. Oklahoma's faced that. Okay? And everyone's like, Joe Burrow's the best quarterback to ever. Okay. Joe Burrow has the most passing yards in SEC history in a single season. In the Big 12, he wouldn't even be in the top 10. Okay? And everyone's like, well, LSU has the number one offense by far in the nation. Really? They're number one in yards per game by 0.2 yards. 0.2 yards. 0.2 yards. If you want to go by yards per play, Oklahoma has them by more than a yard. Yards per play has them by more than a yard. Oklahoma's ran 884 and LSU's ran over 900. I think it's closer to 950. Oklahoma has LSU in yards per play by more than a yard. LSU only has yards per game average by 0.2 yards. Not 2 yards, but 0.2 yards. That's an LSU fan commenting. I've been on these trash talking boards all the time. So their offenses are basically a wash. Their offenses are basically a wash statistical wise. LSU is 111th in the nation in rushing yards allowed to a quarterback. 111th defensively to rushing yards allowed to a quarterback. Oklahoma, Jalen Hurts is the number one rushing quarterback in the nation. Okay. Also, let's go with defenses. Oklahoma's defense is ranked 24th. LSU's defense is ranked 36th. Okay? They gave up 614 total yards to Ole Miss, a team with their overall record of 4-8. 4 wins, 8 losses. They gave up 614 yards to Ole Miss. Okay? LSU fans, that was all of our backup. That was our backups. Okay, let's go to a common opponent then. LSU and Oklahoma each played the University of Texas. Okay? I'm going to round the numbers out. So they gave up, LSU gave up to Sam Ehlinger 401 passing yards, 4 passing TDs. Oh, God, I can't remember. I believe it's... I want to say it's around 100 yards rushing. or I think it's closer to 80 yards rushing. Okay, so we'll call it 480 yards rushing. They give it, or 480 yards total. 480. We'll call it 480 yards total to Sam Ehlinger in that game. 4 passing TDs. But SEC defense, and University of Oklahoma allowed Sam Ehlinger 200, and it was in the teens. It was like 210 or 214, something like that, passing yards. I believe it was 210 passing yards in the game. 0 passing TDs and -9 yards rushing. So overall, he had, we'll say 201 yards rushing, or 201 yards total in that game. So common opponent, we both won the game by 7 points. Okay, I watched LSU play. Okay, they had to score a late touchdown to win that game. They had to score a late touchdown to win that game against Texas. I watched that game. Texas was very well into that game. Very well in that game. Yeah, there are some people that say Texas should have won that game. Should have won that game. Several people say Texas should have won that game. Okay? And they allowed him to have almost 500 yards total offense. Sam Ehlinger himself, 500 yards total offense and 4 passing TDs. Oklahoma allowed just over 200 total offense to Sam Ehlinger with 0 passing TDs. Okay? OU's defense is ranked 24th in the nation. LSU's is ranked 36. But everyone talks about, well, SEC defenses. LSU did all those offensive things while facing SEC defenses. Good Lord, does my face really look like that? Well, there were 6 teams in the SEC. There's 14 teams total. So almost half the teams in the SEC averaged 30 or more points a game. 30 or more points a game. Almost half the conference averaged 30 or more points a game. So they play defense in the SEC with 2 teams averaging almost 50 points a game and 6 teams total, almost half the conference, averaging 30 plus points a game. Okay? I believe in my gut, and I grew up around football. I grew up in and around football. This doesn't, please, I don't want it to sound, because it's nothing like what you think. I played football for 8 years. Played football for 8 years. I played football for 8 years. I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And when I came back from boot camp, I had a letter from a very small college, or it's a university in Oklahoma City, not far from my high school. Very small. Offering me a partial scholarship to play football. It was their first year. To have a football program the year after I graduated. And so I did receive a partial scholarship to play football. It's nothing special. This was before the stars. I was not a blue chip in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, when I graduated high school, I played defensive end and center. And when I graduated high school, because I lost a bunch of weight my senior year, I weighed 160 pounds and was 5'9". Okay? And I still played center and defensive end, and would also play tackle and some outside linebacker in games. And, being that small, I mean, before that I was like 230. So, but yeah, I remember arguments growing up between cousins and uncles and between my cousins and their dad or their uncles or my uncles and so on and so forth around Thanksgiving and Christmas, which Thanksgiving and Christmas, around all those times, football was always on. Football was always being talked about. Old stories of football, this and that, and arguments. And there were times that we would end up in the front yard, not fighting, but diagnosing plays and showing plays and saying, this is what I'm talking about. This is why this play is successful. And this is how you stop it. And the other uncle going, no. One of my uncles or cousins saying, no, this is how you stop that play. And we'd actually line up to do that. Every year at the family reunion, we had a big family reunion. There was always a football. I remember tackle football on the beach, just leveling each other. Little kids, they didn't care. I was the youngest, and I would get straight up leveled playing football. Football is always being talked about. Every male in my family played football. My dad was offered a full scholarship to play in some small Oklahoma school in the Panhandle, coming out of Elk City High School. At one point in time at Elk City High School, a small town in western Oklahoma, at one point in time, every single person on the football team was related in some form or fashion, brothers, cousins, and so on and so forth, second cousins, third cousins, so-and-so's dad married into the family, that type of thing, was related either by blood or marriage to everyone on the football team. Was related by blood or marriage, with the exception of one person, and I now call that person Uncle Gary because he married my aunt. So, I have cousins who football coaches at places. My dad was a football coach, sure as Little League. Growing up, I used to write plays when I played Little League football, would write plays and give them to my dad when he was my coach, and give them to my coaches. And I used to draw up plays. That's what I would do for fun. I would have my dad and cousins quiz me on the difference between a dime and nickel package, or a base 3-4 and a base 4-3, or a 5-man front, a 5-2, or the new umbrella that people like to do. I would have them quiz me on the differences of those. So I've grown up in or around football my entire life. And my gut is 100% telling me that the University of Oklahoma is going to win this game. Okay? I'm not going to talk about, players are pissed off because they're not getting any this, that, or the other thing. Okay? They're both very good teams. But I think the edge offensively goes to Lincoln Riley. And I don't think LSU can stop Oklahoma's offense. I don't think LSU can stop Oklahoma's offense, because if you stop the run, we'll get you with the pass. And LSU, they talk about how, we got 2 5-star running backs, and our starting running back with experience, his hamstrings can't be, but we get 2 5-star freshman running backs. Oklahoma has 3 5-star freshman wide receivers, not including CeeDee Lamb, who should have won the Biletnikoff. He finished second for the Biletnikoff. Not counting CeeDee Lamb, not counting our tight ends, which we're becoming tight end U. Not counting our tight ends, not counting our offensive line that's really starting to gel. Not counting our running back that averages almost 10 yards a carry. Not counting, we could beat you with the quarterback run. We can beat you with the grinded out, ground and pound, fullback, counter, power I type stuff. We can beat you in the air. We can, offense. Lincoln Riley is a certified offensive genius. Okay. And I think it'll come down to our defense versus their offense. And Alex Grinch's speed D is built for the type of offense LSU runs. It is built for the type of offense LSU runs. The spread them out pass, and everyone's like, well, they're 50-50 run pass. Okay. Oklahoma the past since Lincoln Riley's been there, they actually run more than they pass the ball. Okay? They actually run more than they pass the ball. And I think that our offense this year, they can grind out the clock, ground and pound, hit a pass when we need it. Oklahoma runs the counterplay to perfection. To perfection. And we also have, it's not the run-pass option, but it's the pass-run option that Oklahoma runs. The pass-run option where they're keying on the middle linebacker or the safety. If they go towards the extra receiver, then the tackle takes off down the field. The offensive tackle takes off down the field to pick up that middle linebacker. And there goes Jalen Hurts. Oklahoma can play that this year. They can play that grinded out, down, gritty, dirty, just ground and pound. Oklahoma can do that this year. And LSU likes to talk about how, well, Oklahoma's all finesse and LSU is smash mouth football. They've never watched a single game. They've never watched Oklahoma play Baylor. They never watched Jalen Hurts take on the middle linebacker and smash him so hard that his face, not face mask, but face visor flies off his helmet. And Jalen Hurts gets back up there, just pops right up, goes back. They snap the ball to him and he's good. LSU, they haven't seen that, okay? They haven't seen that. Or they haven't seen OU do that. I'm not saying they haven't seen that this year. But they haven't seen OU do that. OU can grind it out, keep LSU's offense off the field, and I think Alex Grinch's defense can get enough stops that Oklahoma wins this game. I honestly believe that. Honestly, 100% I believe that. Because Alex Grinch offensively will make a mismatch. He will make a mismatch. He will set up plays. He will run plays in the first quarter so that in the fourth quarter, a certain guy is wide open. And he will set that up. He does that. He will run plays for a specific person to be wide open. And I honestly believe that OU will win. All right, I babbled long enough, so I'm going to head home. So I honestly believe OU will win.